I accepted the invitation to participate in the groundbreaking because it is important to signal to the country that the investments that are taking place are not only or always led by our established investors. There are many, I would like to term them new investors emerging, a new class of entrepreneurs emerging in the country who are driving the growth of the country, who see themselves as part of the vanguard of development. And I see Mr. Booth as a leader in that new class of investors in Jamaica. And I want to identify, associate, and encourage these new investors who understand that the environment in which the government has created economic certainty, a proper regulatory environment, an environment where they can get access to credit, that they must take advantage of this environment and not necessarily sit by and wait for development to happen to them. That they must take their capital, they must take risks, they must be entrepreneurial, they must be prospecting, they must find the opportunity, and they must create wealth. And I therefore took the opportunity to participate in this groundbreaking because I wanted to highlight Mr. Booth as one such Jamaican, part of this new vanguard of investors in our country who are locally based, locally grown, people who have made themselves and are making and creating wealth, not just for themselves and their family, but for the hundreds of people they employ and the thousands of people who will benefit from using the service that they provide. The second reason for accepting the invitation to speak here today is that so often we get complaints about this corridor. This corridor was improved maybe 20 years ago to carry a certain volume of traffic. The last time I received a report from NROC, I am told that the improvement that happened 30 years ago to take a certain volume of traffic, that today the volume of traffic is at least twice what the improvement could carry. Meaning that the current roadway does not have the capacity to carry the volume of traffic today, and in fact, the volume of traffic that is projected. So it means that there has to be significant investments in improving this road corridor. Now, when the investment was done to improve this road corridor more than 20 years ago, the idea was to create a highway. Indeed, that's what it was, a highway. But what has happened since? Drax Hall and communities along the corridor would have started to develop a particular energy. That's the term I like to use. A particular energy. An energy for urbanization. And that has come because of a confluence of several developments, which, though planned, they were not coordinated. So for example, along this corridor, there are several major housing developments. They're all planned, they meet the development orders, the parish councils would have approved them, but they bring a certain level of traffic. And the residents that are created would require a certain level of service. We've developed the North-South Highway that brings Kingston closer to Ocho Rios. So persons' decisions about where they should accept employment and how often they come and visit Ocho Rios or transact business between Montego Bay and Kingston would have increased the flow of traffic. And then there are several hotels that have been developed along the corridor. And then we notice as well that there are several commercial developments taking place along the corridor. So technically, what is happening on both sides of the corridor is the emergence of almost what I would call a new urban space that could very well emerge into a new town, a new urban center maybe, a new commercial zone. But clearly, the roadway in its present form cannot serve the new and emerging needs of this urbanized and commercial district that is emerging.